Can you recall a time when your heart pounded like a drum, your palms sweated, and every fibre of your being screamed at you to run? That, my friends, is the sensation of fear. This primal emotion, this nebulous enigma, is a universal experience, woven into the very fabric of our existence. It comes in many forms, from the fleeting terror of a nightmare to the bone-chilling dread that lurks in the dark corners of our minds. It can grip us in an iron hold, paralyzing us in its icy clutches, or spur us into action with a jolt of adrenaline. Fear, in its essence, is a survival mechanism, a primal response to perceived danger. But it is not always our ally. Sometimes it morphs into irrational phobias, crippling anxieties that hold us captive. But what exactly causes this intensely powerful reaction? Let's dive deeper into the science behind fear. When faced with danger, our bodies respond in quite remarkable ways. This is largely thanks to the fight-or-flight response, an evolutionary survival mechanism. The adrenal glands play a key role here, releasing adrenaline, a hormone that prepares us for immediate action. This adrenaline rush results in increased heart rate, dilated pupils, and a surge of energy. It's our body's way of saying it's time to fight or flee. But where does fear come into the picture? Enter the amygdala, a tiny almond-shaped structure in our brain. This little powerhouse is responsible for processing fear and triggering appropriate responses. When we encounter something scary, the amygdala sends distress signals to different parts of the brain, sparking our fight-or-flight response. So now we have a basic understanding of how our bodies respond to fear. But what about our minds? What happens there? Fear isn't just a biological response, it's also a deeply psychological one. Imagine a child who has been bitten by a dog. The pain and shock of the incident may lead to a lifelong fear of dogs, a phobia known as cynophobia. This is an example of how fear can be learned through experiences, a concept known as fear conditioning. It's not just cynophobia either. Arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, and acrophobia, the fear of heights, are also common phobias that often originate from traumatic experiences in the past. These fears are not necessarily rational, but they are deeply ingrained in the psyche, making them difficult to overcome. Interestingly, not everyone who experiences a traumatic event develops a phobia. This suggests that our personal dispositions, perhaps our genetic makeup, play a role in shaping our fears. Fear, as it appears, has complex roots that intertwine our biology and psychology, but can we overcome these irrational fears? Overcoming fear may seem like a Herculean task, but with understanding and the right approach, it's entirely possible. Consider exposure therapy, for instance. This method gently introduces the individual to the source of their fear in a controlled environment. Over time, this can decrease the fear response and help them to manage their reactions more effectively. With professional help and personal determination, it's possible to mitigate and, in some cases, completely overcome phobias and irrational fears. Fear, as we've seen, is a complex and fascinating aspect of our lives. By understanding its mechanisms, we can better cope with it and perhaps even conquer it.